Welcome to Jackie's Proof Animals Have Souls and Psychic show, produced through Passionate World Talk Radio, a subsidiary of Global Media Network. Welcome to listeners, and I'd like to encourage and thank you for your comments and questions to be explored in the next week's shows. Anyone who has listened to my shows before will know I am the author of 3 books on Amazon, namely Moses and Jesus the Shamans and my Proof Animals Have Souls series. Proof Animals Have Souls and 500 plus celebrities go vegetarian. If you click on each of my books on my website, they will take you directly to the Amazon link, and the books can be bought as paperbacks or ebooks, and all can be read independently of each other. My website is www.jackiejoneshunt.com. Jackie is spelt like Jack, adding IE. So it's www.jackiejoneshunt.com. And my email is jackiejoneshunt@gmail.com. My books cover a host of topics, but you'll also learn that all animals and birds dream with rapid eye movement sleep. This is called REM sleep. We have REM sleep too. Also that humans are animals, primates and mammals, with tails in the mother's womb. If you think of evolution, we come from a primal soup, becoming fish, then amphibians, half on the land and half in the water, who live both in the water and land, as I say, then primates evolving into increasingly upright human animals. Where do you draw the line that one being survives death and another doesn't? My understanding is not how intelligent any living being is, but can they feel pain? And yes, they can all feel pain. Many at the hands of humans through neglect, cruelty, or our insensitive actions, and millions daily in slaughterhouses. My books clarify my belief all beings have immortal souls, souls being understood as energy, and all scientists agree energy is eternal, immortal, and cannot be destroyed. However, energy can transmute in form at the close of one chapter and the start of the next chapter. That's what I believe happens at death. I believe the religions of the world, through countless ages, has called this immortal energy the soul or the spirit. My Nana, after passing away in hospital, told me death for her felt like a butterfly coming out of the chrysalis. My Nana was free from her worn-out body, and she told me that after she passed. My books go into a lot more than this, and Moses and Jesus the Shamans shows the difference between the psychic faculty and mediumship, and gives a detailed, comprehensive coverage of all forms of mediumship, and the ancient spiritual roots of mediumship, tracing this supersensitive faculty or spiritual gift through the ages and the globe under various names. And these names for mediumship include seers, judges, prophets, and shamans. My books also reveal the biblical mistranslations in Bibles today that wrongly condemn mediumship. I would like to use Victor Zamet's quote in his recent free weekly online Friday Afterlife report. You may wish to subscribe. The quote is from the medium Maurice Bobinel, through whom the highly spiritually elevated spirit spoke, and the spirit naming himself as Silver Birch. And to give you the quote, for a century in almost every country in the world, evidence for survival has accumulated and reached such a volume that no impartial person could dismiss it. It belongs in the category which would be accepted in courts of law, unless all human testimony is to be dismissed as unreliable. Every test capable of establishing survival has been successfully demonstrated. There are tens of thousands of books written by people of unimpeachable integrity recording this evidence. The quote is from page 8 from the book called Power of the Spirit, 1989, and Victor Zamet's website is www.victorzamet.com, and Zamet is with a double M for mother, victorzamet.com. Now I'd like to tell you about a poem I have been sent, so I'm calling it the Paul O'Grady poem. And I would like to thank the person who sent me the poem and the anonymous poet who calls himself a fan of Paul O'Grady, the English TV star who recently passed away. To introduce Paul O'Grady, Paul O'Grady hosted many TV shows for many years, internationally and in the UK, and is most remembered in the UK for his numerous series on rescuing and adopting homeless animals. And these are wild and tame. The poem, in my opinion, seems to be the result of Paul in spirit overshadowing the poet. The poem has particularly struck a chord with me, as I could see and hear Paul saying every word. It's like the poem came directly from the so-called dead Paul O'Grady's lips. I personally believe the poet was totally overshadowed by Paul O'Grady and expressed Paul's friendly, loving, down-to-earth personality. For me, every word seems to have come directly from Paul O'Grady himself. To give you something on Paul O'Grady's background before going into the poem sent me, Paul O'Grady spent much of his life in London and the rest of it in the northwest of England from where he originated. That's near Liverpool, home of the famous group called the Beatles with Paul McCartney and John Lennon. He was loved by millions of viewers for his heart of gold compassion towards all animals, and he passed away recently on the 28th of March 2023, aged only 67. Paul O'Grady was a very popular English TV star and comedian who hosted many international TV shows, and especially shows rescuing and rehoming abandoned, neglected or lost animals. Such was his love for animals, his life and home was surrounded by his countless adopted animals of all sizes and backgrounds, including his beloved rescued dogs. And Paul is famously quoted as saying, "Taking any animal into your life will inevitably end in heartache, but you don't worry about the hangover when you're at the party." And this is because he was so aware that they have such shorter lives than us. For at one of our days, it's like weeks for them, because they have such shorter lives than us. This is the poem I received. Hello, from me in heaven. As you all know, I've died. To stay down there amongst you lot, well, I really tried. But him up there sent a hitman, who dragged me from my bed, and instead of taking me below, I've landed here instead. It happened all so suddenly, while I was sound asleep, dreaming of my doggy friends, my pigs, my goats and sheep. I got dropped outside these shiny gates and told to ring the bell. I was glad I wore my gym jams and my breath it didn't smell. I got ushered in by Peter, I think that was his name. I asked him what was the matter was, and just what was his game. You better see the boss, he said, and quickly disappeared, leaving me confronted by an old guy with a beard. The guy produced a glass of wine and gave me a strange nod. I'm known by many names, but you can call me God. Now we have up here a vacancy, impossible to fill, but someone very close to you told me you'd fit the bill. I stared at him with open gob, then guzzled down the bevy. I will help you if I can, I said, as long as it's not heavy. There is a door beside the gate, through which all creatures pass, and staring back I saw a sight, which made me drop my glass. 'Twas Murphy standing, arms outstretched. My mind was all afluster, for standing right beside my love was Bullseye, Olg, and Buster. You're needed here to help these pets, my Murphy did advise, and seeing my loved ones once again brought tears to my eyes. Ahem, may I continue, please? This man named God then spoke. These animals need someone kind, and we think you are the bloke. To wait beside this special door, let those approach come through it, and help each one dispel their fear. I said, let's do it. So here I am, with Murph and dogs, putting creatures at their ease. A job which gives me so much joy, it really is a breeze. We spoil them when they come to us, with treats out of the fridge. Then when we know they are ready, we help them across the bridge. So stop the sadness that you all hold. Don't let those teardrops fall, for I'm here in my element, with heavenly love from Paul. This poem was posted possibly by David Ellis on Muffin Pug Rescue and tagged with Pug Rescue, Dog Lovers, Dog Rescue, and For the Love of Paul O'Grady. And just to give you a word about Paul's fame, Paul was a comedy drag queen in his earlier years, and he was known as Lily Savage. And later, as he developed, he became a broadcaster, actor, author, and was most well known for bringing his dogs on TV with him and his animal rescue and rehoming shows. He took Buster, a Shih Tzu Bichon Frise cross, on tour with him, saying Buster was happiest in TV studios and theatres, making friends with the doormen, TV and theatre staff. His welcoming, kindly personality and spontaneous off-the-cuff humour won him awards such as Best Television Personality of the Year, and once, when Paul was annoyed, he won the Best Television Moment of the Year award. His Paul O'Grady show had over 2.7 million viewers. Daily people from all walks of life looked forward to laughing at his impromptu, spur-of-the-moment, impulsive, joking style and comments. And one of Paul's most famous series was called The Paul O'Grady For the Love of Dogs. Paul's show was filmed at the famous Battersea London Dogs and Cats Home. Invited for 6 days, he stayed as a volunteer for 6 months. Paul became an ambassador for the London Battersea Dogs and Cats Home, and to thank him, the Battersea Rescue Centre had a bronze statue of his dog Buster erected in a central place, and he also adopted Eddie, a Jack Russell Chihuahua cross, from the centre. And Paul narrated a documentary detailing the devoted work of guide dogs for the blind, and several series named Paul O'Grady's Animal Orphans in Africa, reaching 3.29 million viewers. And following his work on animal orphans, Paul became the patron of the Orangutan Appeal UK. This was followed with the series Paul O'Grady For the Love of Animals, India. Paul said he took to the work with animals like a duck to water. He loved helping animals and said he wanted to work with animals all of his life. As a child, he liked to surround himself with animal pets, and as an adult on his farm, he was surrounded with countless rescued animals of all sizes, and he gave them all a home. Before concluding today's show, I'd like to add, when I lived by Cornwall, England, my husband, dogs and I often went to the seaside at Looe in Cornwall. This happened to be where many TV stars, including Dawn French, Lenny Henry, Paul O'Grady and others from the series EastEnders went from London to relax between shows. I'd like to give a couple of light-hearted examples that come to mind of animal intelligence, personality and emotions. The first concerns Hamish, my Scottish friend's dog's reaction to his haircut, and the second is about my Scottish friend's cat. When living in Glasgow, Scotland, I asked my friend, "What is wrong with Hamish, your dog?" I soon learned that whenever Hamish had his hair cut, upon returning home, he hid behind the settee for most of the day, self-conscious and embarrassed at his new look. Hamish had a very intelligent and strong personality. Another example is of a Scottish friend's cat. She told me her cat was walking behind her bed head one morning. Then suddenly he shot up higher than their bed head like a piece of toast out of the toaster. Sadly, he'd had an electric shock from a faulty plug. After his trip to the vet, he was pampered by everyone, as he hobbled for days on his sore foot. One day my friend noticed her cat was hobbling on the wrong foot. Just like a child, he'd been lapping up the attention. He'd forgotten he was putting on his act with the wrong foot. How clever and mischievous is that? What a personality he demonstrated. He certainly loved to give love and attention and receive love and attention. I was once told by a medium in Cornwall, England, that ancient spirits work with me as I look after vulnerable animal souls who can't look after themselves. We are a family of 7, as I have 5 dogs and my husband, of course. Thank you for joining me today. I look forward to talking with you again, and I look forward to receiving your comments and questions. And just as a reminder, my website is www.jackiejoneshunt.com, all small case, all one word, the word Jack with IE on the end, and my email is jackiejoneshunt@gmail.com. So it's jackiejoneshunt.com, and the email is jackiejoneshunt@gmail.com. Thank you very much.